Good morning and welcome to Sun and Moon's daily live stream. I'm Anaïs. It's a pleasure to be with you today. As usual, for today's practice, you will need a blanket and 2 blocks. So once you have those items, go ahead and join me on your mat, finding a comfortable seat. I'll be starting today in hero pose, sitting with my heels underneath my hips. But if this doesn't feel comfortable for the knees, you can grab a blanket, roll it up behind the knees, or you can even come to sit on your blocks. Or you can find another seat, and that's perfectly fine. So beginning here, let's take a couple moments, a couple intentional breaths to get focused, to get centered. Begin to soften your gaze or close the eyes. And take a deep breath in. Noticing how the body reacts as it receives the breath. And then what it does as it releases the breath. Can you sense for that sense of release, perhaps a sense of softness coming from the inside as the breath is released. Good morning. Just tuning in here to our breath to help anchor us in this present moment. Breathing in. Find that sense of spacious awareness that the breath creates inside the body. Breathing out, become sensitive to the physical form of your body, the weight and shape of this physical form on the mat beneath you. Perhaps allowing the shape to soften and be received by the mat beneath you. A couple more breaths here. Allowing yourself a little bit of space and a little bit of time to arrive, present in your practice, present in your breath, in your body, in your being. If any thoughts begin to arise, like, what will I make for lunch? Or what was that thing I forgot to do this morning I need to remember? Simply let that be a friendly reminder to turn back to your present experience and what's right here in front of you right now. The breath, the body. Let your next inhale be the most nourishing breath you've taken today. Let it fill the body with the sensation of spacious awareness from head to toe. And as you release the breath, begin to gently open the eyes to receive the room around you. All right. Let's bring a little bit of movement to the body now. Interlace the fingers. Press the palms away from you. And lift your arms up towards the sky. The elbows can be soft. This doesn't have to be, you don't have to be overextending the shoulders here, just finding a little extra space and wiggle room in the shoulders and neck. And begin to draw some circles with the arms. Notice what other parts of the body want to get in on this movement and allow them to join the chorus. Breathing in as you make your way up, and then breathing out as the hands come back down. Letting one full circle go in time with one full cycle of breath. And let this be organic. Linger if any specific spot feels good. Allow yourself to hang out there for a moment. Maybe hanging out at the top to open out the side of the ribs. And then make your way to the other side, switching the direction of your circles. Let's make one more big circle here, one more big breath. And then bring the hands to the back of your head. And let your head rest in the hands so that you can actually feel the weight of the head in your hands. Let the head continue to drop back, anchor down through the lower body, engage your core so that you stay nice and grounded here as you begin to open the front of the body, maybe finding a little bit of openness in the armpits. Breathing into any areas that might feel a little tense. Inviting a little bit of softness and spaciousness through breath. And let your hands guide your head gently forward, dropping your head so that the weight of the hands help to anchor down the head. Breathing into the spine here. Let the weight of the head create a little bit of traction into the spine as it elongates. And let the breath invite space in between each vertebra. On your next inhale, lift back up. Exhale, come back down. Inhale to come back up. And last time, exhale, round forward. Inhale, look back up. Release your hands down behind you, interlace the fingers, and pull your fists away from you. Finding a little bit of opening here in the shoulders as they broaden. Breathing into any spaces there that might still be waking up. And being fully present with whatever sensations are there. Release that. And then if you aren't already sitting on your heels, go ahead and make your way there. As I mentioned before, you can roll a blanket behind the knees if the knees tend to get cranky like this, or you can even sit up on some blocks. And then place your hands on the mat in front of you and stretch the left leg out long behind you. Rest here for a few breaths. Just passively opening up the front side of the body here. Maybe even getting into the psoas. You can play around here with the posture of your hands and arms, maybe coming down to the forearms if that feels good. Or staying up with arms extended. Continue to breathe and be present with whatever is coming up here for you. Wait for your next exhale and bring the left knee back forward. And straighten the right leg behind you. Same thing here, except that between two sides things can be very different. So tune in here and notice how your body responds to your arms being straight or forearms coming down to the ground, and honor whatever the body is trying to tell you here. Breathing in, invite a little more awareness to the upper right thigh, coming up through the hip, maybe even into the belly. Breathing into that big swath of muscle, the psoas. Wait for your next exhale, and then bring the right knee forward. Now scoot the knees back to come to table pose. Inhale, reach your right arm up, and as you exhale, swoop it under and thread underneath the left arm, bringing your shoulder down to a block or the mat beneath you, maybe a blanket. Letting your head rest wherever it lands. Breathe in here. Allowing yourself to be present with whatever sensation you might be feeling here in this posture. And then unwind, bringing the right hand back out. Lift your left arm up towards the sky and swoop it down, thread it through, bringing your shoulder down to the mat or a block or a blanket. Notice any differences between sides, simply observing without any judgment. And continue to invite in that sense of awareness and softness with each breath. Unwind, bringing your left hand back out. Come back to table pose for just a moment here. And then tuck the toes, lift the knees, lift your hips up to down dog. Keep the heels nice and high here, and notice the length that you gain in the spine from keeping the heels nice and high. Walk your dog out a couple times, breathing into the back of the legs. And then lift your right leg up. Nice deep breath here. Bend the knee, open out to the side. And then bring your knee back down and in towards your nose to step it forward. Now shift your weight forward onto this front foot as your back foot lifts up. Let the front knee be soft. Notice any tension in the back of the leg, as it still may not be completely warmed up here. This is still part of the warm-up. So be gentle, pressing down through the heel and toes to find your ground. And then extend out through the back heel and forward through the crown of the head to create a little more space all along the back side of the body. One more breath here. And then float the back leg back down. As the foot makes contact with the earth, press both feet down firmly and reach your arms up towards the sky. Let there be wiggle room in the shoulders and neck here. And then release your arms down behind you, interlacing the fingers behind you. Pull the fists back and away. Breathing into the shoulders here as they begin to melt away from the ears. One more time, standing up tall. Pull the shoulders down and back. And then begin to fold forward from the hips. Let the chest drop down. Let your head stay neutral. finding space in the back of the neck. And then pause when your chest is about parallel to the mat. Still finding space and length all along the back side of the body as the head reaches forward, the heels ground down, the fists shoot back. Can you feel that energy coursing through you? The breath enlivening the body. Feeling for any signs of life inside the body. And then release your arms down. Reach forward as you come up one more time. Exhale, fold forward. Let your knees be soft. Place your hands on blocks or the mat underneath you. And then shift your weight forward onto that front foot. Lift the back leg up. And then place the foot, you're gonna just cross it behind the front foot. So left foot comes to the outside of the right foot here. Knees are still soft. Inhale, lift up, just a moment. And exhale, fold forward a little deeper. Let your head really hang here. Let it hang out. Let the shoulders and neck release. And stay tuned into the breath, tuned into the sensation of the hamstring opening up, maybe even the side seam of the leg. And then remove your blocks. Place your hands back on the mat beneath you and step back to down dog. Shift your weight forward, coming into a plank. Bend the elbows, slowly lowering down, maybe coming onto knees, and then belly and chest. Let your forehead rest on the mat. And then bend your elbows and let the fingertips come to the outside of your mat. Anchor down through the tops of the thighs and the tops of the feet. Inhale, begin to lift your chest and let your head follow. Exhale, come back the way you came up. Chest comes down, head comes down. And then again, lifting the chest and then the head to come back up. Release the chest down, release your head down. And continue to help keep you grounded. And maybe with each breath, the chest rises a little bit higher. Creating soft waves here in the upper spine. And you don't have to go very far to feel any sensation in the spine. Just a few inches. So see what that feels like. You can add a little bit more by pressing into the fingertips, lifting the chest up a little higher. Stay tuned into the back here for any messages for how much farther it can really go. And as always, the practice is not how far can you go, but how far can you go while still staying present and staying integrated with the body and the breath. All right, the next time you come down to the mat, rest there for a moment. Let your arms rest down by your side. Bring one ear to the mat and melt. And then bring your hands back to the mat underneath the shoulders. Bend the knees, cross your ankles, and push up to your knees. Uncross the ankles, tuck the toes, and lift back up to down dog. Walking it out one more time if you need to. And then lift your left leg up, bend the knee, and open out to the side. Staying grounded here in both hands. Let a little bit of weight from the foot and the leg open up the hip. Without going too far, without feeling too much strain. And then bring the knee back in. Bring it towards your nose and step it down to the mat. Shift your weight forward onto this front foot and then lift the back leg up. Let the front knee be soft, anchoring down through the toes, the ball of the foot, the heel. And let your back heel press back as your head pulls forward. Creating nice length from the head to toes. And then lower the back leg down. As the foot meets the mat, press down firmly through both feet to reach up. Come up. Let your chest be tall, shoulders still fall away from the ears here, finding some wiggle room in the neck and shoulders. And then release your arms down by your sides, interlace the fingers behind you, and pull the fists away from you to pull the shoulders back and down. One more tall breath here. Grounding down through the feet, begin to fold at your hips. Coming forward until the chest is about parallel to the mat. Continue to make contact with your feet, the soles of the feet down on the earth. Reach forward through the crown of the head, pull back through the fists. And then release your arms down. Press through both feet to reach back up one last time. And exhale, come forward, bringing your hands to blocks or the mat. Lift the back leg up, and then cross it behind the front foot. Inhale to look up. Exhale, fold forward. Now let the head drop, using the weight of the head to create a little bit of traction in the spine here too. Let the shoulders relax down, the neck, the arms. Letting the legs be your trunk here so that the upper body can just hang out. And then remove your blocks. Place both hands on the mat, step back to down dog. Lift the hips. And then lower the hips as you shift your weight forward into plank. One deep breath here. And then bend the elbows, let the knees come down to the mat. And release all the way down to the mat. Bend the elbows. Bring the fingertips to the floor outside your mat. And then beginning with the forehead on your mat. Let your chest lift a few inches and let your head follow. Then release back down. Coming down with your chest first, and let your head follow. A couple more cycles here, lifting up from the chest, pressing through the fingertips as you come up. And then releasing back down, creating soft waves in the upper back. And once you get into a rhythm, the nose and forehead may just gently make contact with the mat before coming back up again. Maybe inhaling to come up, exhaling to go back down. And just tracing the nose and forehead on the mat as you come in and out. The next time you come down, release your arms down by your sides. Turn your head to the opposite direction and take a restful breath here. Letting everything melt down into the mat. And then bring the forehead back to the mat. Bend your knees. Let your hands reach back for the feet. And then lift the chest, lift your head as the feet press into the hands. Lift up. Don't forget to breathe here. Nice deep breaths. Wait for your next exhale. Release back down. Straighten your legs. Bring your left arm out to the side again in a 90-degree angle this time. And then let the right fingertips come back to the outside of the mat, just like they did for our. And then begin to roll onto that left arm, rolling onto your left side. And then step back with the right foot to create a kickstand. Breathing into any opening here in the left arm. And then release the right leg back down. Roll on back to the belly. And then switch the arms so that the right arm comes down to a right angle, cactus arm. And the left arm, left fingertips come down to meet the earth. Press through the fingertips to roll onto your right side. And then step back with the left leg this time, using the foot as a kickstand. Wait for your exhale, roll on back to your belly. And then bring the hands back to your mat underneath the shoulders, bend your knees, cross the ankles, and press back up. Come on down to your seat. Any seat is fine. And we'll just take a couple closing breaths here together. Hands together in front of your heart. You can bow your head to honor your body, your breath, your practice. And all the other souls who are joining us in this practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your practice. I hope you have a great day.